I want to first off begin by thanking Ian Blackburn for creating the DeMarco Fan Nation YouTube channel. And the link is right over there, so go ahead and take a look. But over the weekend, he had actually supplied me with roughly 79 questions. So my plan is, over the course of a number of videos, I'm going to answer every single question he's posed. So do as many as I can, and it won't interfere with other vids. If I have another vid, I'll do that, but if I don't, then I'll probably be doing these. So without further delay, let's begin the DeMarco Fan Nation Q&A. I started watching wrestling when I was about 8 or 9, and I do remember roughly about 10 is when I remember the first match. So, but that's roughly when I started watching, and I started really paying attention about 12, 13. Then I was really getting into it. There are a lot of wrestlers I could say. There's a long list, but the guy that I was really a big fan of and I thought he was the greatest thing ever was actually Sting. You know, I dug the face paint. I dug the face paint. I dug how his gear was always flashy. He just had so much energy, and he was just such a great guy. You know, the blonde, spiky, flat top and the rat's tail, and just his whole demeanor and the energy and such. And I mean, he just put on some great, entertaining matches, and he just always got the crowd, and above everybody, Sting. That's why. I would probably a number of people. I started watching it, and with guys like Bret Hart and Sting, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, and a few others, Stone Cold and Rock and a few others, I started thinking maybe, possibly looking at it from a standpoint of maybe getting involved. But it really wasn't until I was in the service. I was in the service, and we'd watch wrestling. A lot of guys had talked about joining a wrestling school, and I kind of looked at them and was like, well, if they're going to join, why not try my hand? So I figured my plan was to try to find a school when I got out of the service. So I started training in Austin, Texas for CTPW under the guidance of George De La Isla, and I was 25 at the time. I started training in February of 2000, and I had my first match April of 2000, and I want to say it was April 20th or 21st. I've always listed it as April 20th, kind of an inside thing, but yeah, April 20th, 2000. So roughly within 2 months. Yeah, 2 months. I would say, for the most part, I modeled myself. I probably after Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels would probably be the biggest inspiration for me. I mean, throw in a little Ric Flair, throw in a little Rob Van Dam, throw in a little Bret Hart, throw in a little Chris Jericho, but for the most part, it was Shawn Michaels. The sexy actually came from George De La Isla, my first promoter and booker and talent guy and father figure, in essence. I was part of the Beautiful People with Precious Paul Powers, and they needed me to have a similar nickname, and Sexy is what we came up with. We threw out a few others, but Sexy was the one. It just seemed to, in like Sexy Steve DeMarco, it just seemed to work and seemed to flow. So the Sexikick, probably from Shawn Michaels. I'll admit it. You know, sometimes I'll tune it up. Even to this day, I'll tune it up, Sweet Chin music wise, but that's where it came from. The neckbreaker, the Sextacy Neckbreaker, actually came from, I saw Sonny Siaki do it, and when he was part of the Flying Elvises, and I just thought, wow, that's just a cool little move you can do. And I actually use it from time to time as a finisher, but you know, I've seen Molly Holly do it and Shannon Moore do it, but that's where I got it. I think I saw Sonny Siaki, and I thought, why not a flipping neckbreaker? Go figure. The Sexified, I want to say I saw Goldberg do it. And I thought, why not? Another move I could counter. I always wanted to come up with finishers that I could hit out of nowhere with very little preparation that could counter somebody else's. And a lot of guys throw suplexes, you know, the typical snap suplex, so I figured, why not? So, the Wet Dream, actually, I can't take full credit. I was doing it at one point. I was doing a variation, probably with a Russian leg sweep combo or a camel clutch combo. But the actual Wet Dream actually came from Richard Hill with PCW. I was starting a feud with Lance Hoyt, and we were working towards an I Quit match, and I figured I needed some kind of submission just to rub it in, and the Wet Dream came about. It kind of made perfect sense. $1 Million Dream, Wet Dream, so. Emotionally, I just love the roar of a crowd. I love having the crowd in the palm of my hand. I just like that adulation that I get from a crowd. There's really no other way. I get an emotional high from it. It's just, it's the best thing out there. I mean, there's other things that are better, but in front of a crowd and performing is where I want to be, and just the combat and whatnot. So I get a lot, you know, out of it. It usually feels great. I can't complain about the championships I've won. Every time I've won one, especially if it's like the company's main belt, there's a sense of accomplishment. Like they respect you enough and believe that you're good enough for the company to put that pressure on you in a sense. But it always feels great, especially you know, when there's really no doubt that you should be the guy or anything like that. So it always feels pretty damn good to have gold around your waist. Being PCW Grand Slam, I want to say, man, that's always going to be a feather in my cap because I was the first ever. No one else can say that, really, especially for that company with a lot of guys who've won, you know, been Triple Crown winners and won multiple belts and had many title reigns. To be that PCW Grand Slam winner, to be the first one to do it, to win belts and transcend weight classes and transcend, not just be a guy who's starting out, but be able to win arguably every belt, feels pretty damn good, I'll be honest. I was stoked. I started reading the PWI when I got into wrestling, and I would always see the top 500 list, and I was gonna, you know, I'd be damned I was gonna be on that list. And the first time I saw my name on there, or anytime I saw my name in the PWI magazine, I just was ecstatic. And I'm looking forward to being back in it at some point, hopefully very soon, hopefully next year. So. I don't mind playing both or either. Babyface has its benefits. You can interact with the crowd. Especially doing the Lucha Lounge, I've got more people who like me, so it's harder to be a heel per se. I mean, there's some who do. Being a heel is always fun because you don't have to worry about the rules. You set the pace. A lot of times, you're in control 99% of the time. So. There you go. I think we're going to stop there for now. I did 13 questions, my first 13, so coming soon will be the next set. So be on the lookout, and as I always say, stay cool, stay sexy, stay classy, but you know you already are, because you're not only part of the Lucha Lounge, but you're part of the DeMarco Fan Nation. And you guys all know that there is no show without Steve DeMarco. Later.